What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for the match preview. It is Tottenham against Newcastle out in Korea. Tottenham's last game of the tour as they head back to face Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena next. But a small matter of what could potentially be Son Heung-min's last game for Tottenham Hotspur. Nothing confirmed, but you know the talks are really hotting up now, and in his native land of Korea. I think it's going to be a bit of a special occasion. It always is when Spurs are playing in Korea. I'm here with Mr. Brian Daigle. How are we doing today, my friend?
Very, very good, brother. Very, very good. Another day chilling with you and the We Are Tottenham TV community, talking about Spurs in a very positive light. What could be better?
Absolutely. And we saw the first game of the tour, which was out in Hong Kong Thursday afternoon against Arsenal. We got the win. We saw Mikel Arteta crying on the pitch, and let's see what can happen on Sunday, 12 o'clock kickoff against Newcastle, which is an interesting matchup because let's focus on Newcastle for a minute first, because they are having a torrid time so far in this pre-season. So they've been on tour for 2 games already. They played Arsenal, they lost 3-2. They played the K-League All-Stars and they lost 1-0. And before they went on tour, they played Celtic and lost 4-0. So they played 3 games and lost 3 games so far in their pre-season. Spurs are yet to lose a game, but they only just won. Or they won the first game, they drew 2 games, and then they beat Arsenal on Thursday, which was what you got to say was the biggest test and the only real test so far of the pre-season. Newcastle, I don't know what's going on with them, but they just can't seem to get targets through the door. They're going for this player, they're going for that player. All the players that they're going for seeming to choose other clubs to get gazumped, get hijacked. The latest being, if you believe the rumours, Benjamin Sesko. They wanted him to replace Isaac, and apparently he's going to be favouring a move to Manchester United. That's nothing confirmed or anything, but that's what the rumours are in the press. They obviously have the Isaac situation looming over them. There's reports today that Liverpool have put in their first official bid of 130 million, which has been rejected out of hand. And just a lot just does not seem right with Newcastle at this moment in time. And I think that's definitely evident of the transfer window that they're having, but it's also evident on the pitch of the results that they're getting. So how do you kind of assess this Newcastle situation? Like, do you think they're not preparing for the season in the best way, are they?
Well, let's not forget as well, they've just signed Aaron Relegation Dow. So he could be having his debut against us, which would be wonderful. Let's hope we can smash a few past him. Newcastle, yeah, look, they've done so well under Eddie Howe. They've got such a strong team and work ethic, and I love to see Newcastle successful. I love that city. Obviously, my love for Gaza, but they've got the money. They just can't. I mean, they've got the Champions League football. They just can't get this. They could probably pay the wages, and now their star asset, their big shining star, along with for me Bruno Guimaraes, who I think is an exceptional player. There's been a drama there, and he's not available. It's worrying times for Newcastle. It's worrying times because if you cannot get the players in, even though you can pay, what can you do?
Yeah.
What can you do? They got rid of Paul Mitchell, who used to be able to find these talents, and we know that firsthand. The director of footballs have been coming and going. Dan Ashworth, obviously, as well. It doesn't look all that's rosy though. They got all the money, haven't they? But something's not right there.
Yeah, 100%. And you're looking at the shape of their squad going into next season. If you assume that Isaac's not going to be there, look, they will bring in players from now to the end of the window for sure. But right now, it really is looking bleak. You know, Callum Wilson's gone out the door as well on a Bosman. They've got no number 9 at this moment in time. They've got Gordon, who's a very, very good player, and they've brought in Elanga. But apart from, I mean, it's not looking like a deep squad at all. It's looking really thin. With Champions League football to come, I'm not sure how they're going to be able to handle all these competitions next season. I think they need significant investment. I don't think it's one or two that's going to cut it. I think they need quite a lot of depth going into next season. You're looking at the midfield options. The midfield is probably where they're the strongest on the pitch, with the likes of Joe Linton, Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, and some other players in there as well. But I think in midfield they look strong. But I think everywhere else, they look pretty thin. I know they got some good defenders in there. Livramento, there was talk about him going to Man City at one point. They've got a really good first 11 minus the number 9. But after that, it doesn't look great.
No, and I have to say, it sounds very, very weird to hear Newcastle are out without a number 9. And we all know how iconic that position and that number is to the Newcastle faithful. It's very strange. They do. I mean, you missed out people like obviously Harvey Barnes is there.
Yeah.
They've got Murphy. Also, they got is it Lewis Hall?
Lewis Hall, yeah, fullback.
They have some very, very good players, but Newcastle, like us, who are known for playing football in an expansive attack, and especially with Eddie Howe as well, they are short. And you look at it now, they need to go big with a striker, because you can't just hit and hope with losing Isaac, especially with the 4 competitions. It's a puzzle they're going to have to try and solve, isn't it? But like I said, defensively in midfield, they are strong. I don't know what Ramsdale means for Pope. Is he just a number 2 and they're going to let the Barca go? Is Pope?
I imagine so, yeah.
You'd think so, but who knows? Put it this way, if I had a choice right now to be a Spurs fan or Newcastle, and they've got all the money that they can spend, and we've got Tottenham Hotspur and squad depth, and we'll have to wait and see for Newcastle. But hopefully we'll trounce them, and then they can do their shopping.
Yeah, look, there's a case to say that Spurs and Newcastle's first 11 ain't too different in terms of quality, but when you're looking at the outlook of the whole squad, I think Spurs are stronger, and I think we're more equipped to deal with 4 different competitions throughout the course of a season as opposed to Newcastle. You're looking at Newcastle with like I mentioned, with the results that they're having in pre-season and the kind of noises of the rumours in the press coming out, it just doesn't seem to be a happy camp at this moment in time. And I think they need to get the Isaac situation settled. They need to bring in his replacement, and then maybe you'll start to go back on the up again for Newcastle. But I feel like Newcastle could struggle this season. I really do.
It's no, but Joe, they could. But then you look at it with this Isaac situation. If they don't solve it and bring in a quality striker, then you could have people like Anthony Gordon. So, like, I came here, we're going this far, but you can't. And Anthony Gordon, who has been exceptional at Newcastle, I didn't see him hitting these. Eddie Howe's done a wonderful job with him. His partnership with Isaac, is very, very strong. He's going to have to build a new relationship up with him. Bruno Guimaraes, who I think outside the top 6 is one of the best, if not the best midfielder in the league. Outside, I think he's exceptional. It makes them ponder, but he has a very, very good affinity within the Newcastle team. I wouldn't go as far as struggle, Ben, but I think Newcastle, the way they're going, they'll be lucky for Conference League.
That is struggling though, because when you're coming off the back of getting Champions League in a season and then you're dropping down to the Conference League, that is a struggle.
I thought you meant struggle was in bottom half like we had.
No, I don't think it'll be that bad, but I think I'm similar thinking of you, like Conference League around that kind of ballpark figure. And after getting Champions League, that's got to be a big letdown.
Well, Champions League 2 seasons out of 3, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So it will be, especially with the amount of money Newcastle have got coming in. They're obviously enjoying the money that it brings. But surely you think if they can, or if they get Isaac out, they will have the financial wriggle room and that huge chunk of change to pay the wages of whatever they need to do. And I don't think Newcastle will be afraid to do that. So I'm sure they'll bring someone. But again, like us, time is running out.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're looking at both teams going into next season, I'm looking at the top 4, and I don't think any team can break the top 4 this season of what it is. Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea. I think they're the settled top 4 already for next season. And you're looking at that 5th spot, and you're looking at all the different clubs that are going for it. Manchester United will be stronger next season. But apart from Manchester United being stronger next season, I pretty much think everyone else is going to be a bit weaker. I think Newcastle are going to be weaker than last season. I think Villa are going to be a bit weaker than last season. But I think Tottenham and Manchester United are going to be the ones that really improve. And I know, we finished like 15th and 17th, whatever it was. But I got a feeling Spurs and Man United could be 5th and 6th next season.
When you look at it like this, like I said, after Paulinho, I was like, okay, we're sixth. We're comfortably, or not comfortably, but we should be sixth. We should be sixth with the squad we're amassing. Thomas Frank, I think you're right. You take a deeper look into this, and Villa really haven't strengthened, have they? They haven't been able to. Their pay is so. This is the time for both of us, with United included, to catapult, because whether you support Spurs or United or not, no one would ever predict Tottenham to finish and United to finish where we did in the same season, or at all. So I expect us to be back in that top half, or the top half of the top half, quite comfortably. And like you said, Newcastle could be one of those wounded.
Yeah, I really believe so. And you look forward to the game on Sunday. Spurs going into it with really good feeling after beating Arsenal in the North London derby. Newcastle on the back of 3 losses. Is momentum a thing in pre-season? Do you think you can take momentum into a friendly? Like, how does it work?
I think, listen, any result against Arsenal is always good momentum to take into anything. I think now, from the stop-start transfer activity, and now everything's settling, the lacklustre performances last Saturday, it can only be a positive thing. You take those 2 games out, it can only be a positive thing. And obviously, we've got to remember, these are both against Premier League rivals. And Arsenal, we struggled with in recent times. And Newcastle, let's face it, apart from that 4-1 in Ange's first season at home, Newcastle have been a thorn in our side for a long time, haven't they?
Yeah.
For just some reason, it's been one of those teams that we just, since the new ownership came in anyway, for Newcastle. So taking a win over what will be competing for those places just below the Champions League, that's got to give you confidence.
Didn't we play them last summer in pre-season, didn't we?
Of course we did. We flew out on the way out to Australia.
Yeah. Oh, it was the end of the post-season friendly. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Like the day after our last game of the season, we flew out to play a game in Australia to fly back.
Yeah. Ridiculous. But yeah, we're on the back of 3 losses in a row against Newcastle. 4-0 at St James's, 2-1 at St James's, 2-1 at Tottenham as well.
Yeah.
And look, I don't really take that too much into account when you're going into a pre-season game. And I think this one obviously means a lot less than the one on Thursday, because the North London derby is a North London derby. I think there will be a lot of changes from Spurs going into this, trying to get other people some minutes into their legs, and then you're looking at, after that, coming back and really starting to knuckle down and prepare for that season now, because after Newcastle, it's one pre-season game, and then the PSG and the Super Cup game comes around very thick and fast. So I feel like this is really the last game where you're going to see like heavy rotation, because I think they're going to want to probably go fairly full strength, and you want to see kind of visualize what team you're going to take into that Super Cup.
And you know what? Today, I don't know if the same with you and same with anyone watching this. When you look up at the calendar or look at your phone, you see the date, it says 1st of August. You're like, it's football time. You're now like, it's touching distance. It's here. So after this game, yes, we got Bayern Munich, but then it's the serious time. Yeah. It's the serious time is back. So, like I said, getting minutes in legs is, I think, yesterday was more the result, because it's, yes, it's a friendly, but it's not a friendly. This one is right, go get minutes in your legs. It's obviously we want to win the game, but for me, this game goes back to being get minutes in the legs, get a better understanding what Frank needs to do. And as you said, once our predicted lineup comes out, or the actual lineup we play, it's about them understanding what Frank wants and what Frank needs from the team. And obviously the team yesterday showed they could do it. They clearly showed that they could do it, and now it's time for the players that play Sunday to show that as well.
Yeah. I mean, what we've seen so far in pre-season is how defensively sound we can be, how structurally in a defensive shape we can do it well. We've got the players to do it. With Palhinha coming in, that's extra kind of example of that. What I really want to see in this friendly, which we haven't shown so far, is some attacking patterns of play, of being able to break down the opposition quite regularly. And I think against the Newcastle side, who are not doing well, they're conceding quite a lot of goals in this preseason so far. I think it's a perfect opportunity for us to show it, isn't it?
Yeah, and obviously with James Maddison coming on the pitch and actually showing that he's available for selection now, especially coming up to the season, that's got to be a spark, hasn't it? And I think we've seen with Bergvall when he's played the 10 or whoever it been, they've had freedom. It hasn't been clustered like it was last season for whatever reason. Give Maddison some time and space on the ball. We know what he can do.
Yeah.
We know when he's on it, he can be a difference maker, and he needs space to operate. And hopefully that's something we'll see on Sunday.
Yeah, I hope so. And you're thinking about, like, obviously we tried to bring in Morgan Gibbs-White. Didn't happen for all the reasons that everyone knows about. But we do have James Maddison in the 10. We've also got Kulusevski that can play there, who's obviously injured right now, just started working on the grass a couple of days ago. It makes me think, like, why did we go for Morgan Gibbs-White? Why did we go for a 10? Is it because that Frank considers Kulusevski more as a right winger? I feel like he can actually do a job. I think in Frank's system, I think he's more preferable. I think he'll do his best work as a right winger in Frank's system. I really believe that because he's, inside forward and all that. So it makes me think that he wants a number 10 to share the minutes with Maddison, because we all know Maddison's situation with injuries and he doesn't last 90 minutes. So I think it's still really important for us to bring in that 10 from now to the end of the window.
Well, you know what, when you say that, I listened to the fan show yesterday, and obviously someone I love listening to, Manny, came on.
He's
and
brilliant,
he was talking about, obviously, he was obviously talking about being Ghanaian and watching him, and he says for Ghana, he predominantly plays in the 10. Predominantly for Ghana, that's what he does. So maybe even when Kulusevski is back, he may see Frank may see Kulu as the right winger for certain games, and maybe Kudus will come centrally. So there's some variations to think about. I mean, obviously Manny knows a lot more from following his national team. So it's an interesting demographic to think and look at. Where is he going to play? There's options, isn't there?
Yeah, no, there is. And I think if you have Kudus and Kulusevski as part of a front three or as part of a front four, bloody hell, that's bloody physical, isn't it? And you've got Solanke up there as well, who is also a physical beast. So, I mean, the pressing from Kulusevski, Solanke and Kudus would be absolutely mad, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and do you know what I like about this as well? With Kulusevski, we know when he started last season like a house on fire, and then it peters out. Again, I go back to the overplayed and undervalued. Kulusevski, remember with Pochettino, the press only works if everyone goes. Yeah. I think with the way that we're set up with Frank, it might benefit Kulusevski's stamina, his engine, his levels, because he's not going to have to be up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So I think that could be an advantage for Kulusevski when he does come back. But obviously, that is a bit. We're going to have players that are going to be used for their strengths, for their real underlying strengths, and we'll see. But at the moment, right wing, as we said, we need to see more from Johnson, and we think he will get minutes in that position more than centrally, don't we?
Yeah, no, in this game for sure. I think Johnson needs minutes. He's not been playing well so far in pre-season. We know what Kudus can do now. I think he's been a shining light in pre-season. So it's up to Brennan Johnson to start this game and to up his game massively, because his space in the team is under real serious threat right now. And he needs to perform out of his skin to keep that spot on the right wing. He really does. Right. And at this moment in time, it's a no-brainer who you're going to pick on the right wing, because Kudus is outperforming him massively. He really is. And yeah, I mean, it's a shame for Brennan, but I think it's a good thing for Spurs, because you want options everywhere on the pitch. And I think to have options of Kulusevski, Brennan Johnson, Mohamed Kudus on the right wing, I think is brilliant options to have. I really do.
Yeah, you can also add Odobert. Need be,
yeah.
should he?
Yeah.
So we are. Do you know what? We are so stacked in positions. A lot of it is young, and it's can they make the move up? We are stacked in certain positions. If we can just do some good tweaking, obviously players still need to go out. We're in a good place. We're in a good place, and like we were just saying, Johnson needs to show something.
Yeah.
Needs to show something. I can't remember. Did he have a good pre-season last season, Brennan? Can't remember.
I don't remember either, to be honest. I can't
I
tell
can't
you.
remember a lot about. Like, maybe we've stored it away in a place where it's do not remember parts of the season. But Brennan Johnson definitely needs to. Well, like we said yesterday, he didn't come on for long enough, and all I can remember is him getting booked for an altercation in the penalty area. Luton, he did a couple of things I liked, but Reading, he was non-existent, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, you brought up Pape Matasar's when we did the live.
Yeah.
His ratings for the what's Brennan Johnson got score-wise for pre-season? It won't be very high, will it?
I'll tell you exactly what he's got, Brennan Johnson. Where is he? Brennan Johnson. So I'm looking at the wrong app. I need to get on SofaScore.
Good plug.
So Brennan Johnson, 6.6 against Arsenal, 6.9 against Luton, and a 6.6 against Reading. So I mean, fairly average.
Yeah, I actually thought it was going to be lower. I thought it was going to be lower.
I thought it'd be lower as well.
I don't understand when they do 6.9s or 7s. What? How do you come to that? But it is what it is. But yeah,
He actually got a higher rating against Luton than Mohamed Kudus. So that tells you what the ratings mean.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, what I did like from Brennan Johnson against Luton, and obviously you were there, and this is a Frank thing as well. That front three kept changing the whole way through that first half. He was on the left, he was on the right, he was up front for a bit, which is obviously a Thomas Frank thing, and he did show glimpses, but then he just phased out completely.
Yeah. So I think the main thing for me is fitness. The main thing for me is getting minutes in legs that maybe haven't got enough minutes so far in this pre-season, and just show a bit of attacking intent. I want to see those attacking patterns of play. I think that's the most important thing in this pre-season, because we just haven't seen that so far. And I think when you're looking at Spurs in the pre-season so far, yeah, we've been solid, but it's not exactly been the most exciting watches of games. And we were told, Frank in the Championship played a very expansive game, played a very high pressing game, and then he moved into the Premier League, and obviously that all changed because of the caliber of player and the caliber of player he was playing against. Now he's got a much better caliber of player, which I would say probably in the 5th, 6th kind of best squad in the Premier League. Well, let's show it now against a team that are kind of fighting for the same things against us, and let's see if we can take the game to them and really show some attacking brand of football. Yeah,
I mean, that's obviously I said fitness. I think that has been the one bit that has been missing this pre-season, the creativity, and hopefully this game will see that. And if we can see a very good creative display, regardless what happens on the other side, because we've seen defensively we're sound, defensively at set pieces got so much more improved. That part of the performance, obviously you want it to be good, but it may not be, whatever. That's where we have to see something, or need to see something, and let's hope we do.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is the match preview. I know you can't really go on much, so just talking about the outlook of Tottenham and Newcastle, but that is Brian Daigle from Tottenham on Tour. Head over to his channel and hit that subscribe button. The predictions that we're going for, Brian is going for a whooping 3-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. I'm going for 2-0 to Tottenham. Very much looking forward to this game as always, but the season is coming around thick and fast. Just under 2 weeks to go until that Super Cup. So we really need to start getting an idea of what kind of lineup we're going to see. We need to see some good attacking play and keep on with the kind of great structure that Thomas Frank has implemented already. But let us know your thoughts on the game in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.